We can all use more multiple choice practice. I have 5 questions that correspond with a famous letter written by a Union soldier in 1861, days before the first battle of Bull Run. I tried to find something Valentine's Day themed. This was the best I could do. Most love letters, the rhetorical purpose is kind of hazy. They're not particularly rhetorical. I was trying to find a letter convincing a father to allow the daughter to marry him, like an asking permission letter. I couldn't find one. I found a lot of creepy templates showing you how to write a letter like that. But so anyway, this was the best I could do. It's certainly, obviously being a war letter, it's kind of dark, but it's interesting. It's a famous letter of historical value, and it corresponds if you're doing AP US history. So give yourself 8 minutes to read the letter and complete the 5 questions that go along with it. No point in doing the practice if you're not going to time yourself, because part of the rigor of these Lang multiple choice questions comes from the time constraints. So 8 minutes, read it, annotate it, try to get an answer down for all 5, see how you did, and I'm going to go over those next. All right, 5 questions that go along with this passage. What is the exigence of the passage that relates most closely with the speaker's sense of? So it's quizzing you on your knowledge of what exigence is. So hopefully we've gone over that plenty of times. It's what provokes the composition of the work of rhetoric, what provoked him to write this letter. This would be, all these questions are good to try to attempt to answer on your own before even looking at the answers that I give you or the College Board offers you. But this one especially would be a good one to just reflect and think, why was he writing this? And it relates mostly to his sense of, is it ambivalence, cowardice, paternalism, mortality, or patriotism? Well, the answer is mortality. Ambivalence is about having strong feelings about 2 sides of it. He's not ambivalent. Well, he is kind of, in the sense that he's ambivalent about his love of his country and his love of his family, but he's being provoked to write it because he's worried he might die. That's why he's writing it. So that's the best answer. His patriotism is mentioned. He talks about being a father. He doesn't talk about being a coward. Mortality is the best answer for this one. If you're worried about your ability to understand these words that get thrown at you, there's no immediate and fast way to get better at knowing large words, but I would recommend either you get a deck of those SAT flashcard vocabulary words and study those, or you read widely, books, scholarly articles, newspapers, so on and so forth, and you look up words you don't understand. That's a way to improve and prepare for those type of questions that require you to have a high level high lexicon level. All right, next question. And I'm going to actually stop the video. All right, in question 2, and remember that these questions progress chronologically. They're never going to jump around the course of the passage. First questions will talk about the beginning of the passage and so on and so forth. The final questions will deal with the latter portion of the passage. In the second paragraph, the speaker uses a metaphor too. And let's figure out what that metaphor is. It's expecting you to know what a metaphor is and what metaphoric language looks like. Replace them, I have known with my joys as I lay down all of yours, and replace them with a slice of care and sorrow when after having eaten for long years the bitter fruit of orphanage myself. So that's what I was referring to. He uses metaphoric language to describe being an orphan, which that sucks if you're an orphan, right? Depict the strivation of growing up without parents. That was the correct answer. He wasn't using metaphoric language to contrast his life at home or exemplify his disgust with the Civil War. He uses some to comfort his wife, but not in the second paragraph, does he? And he doesn't use it to reflect on the quality of his life. So hopefully you got that one right. And if you didn't, I'd say something that they consistently will do is they will give correct answers that are correct, but for the wrong paragraph. So I was trying to kind of reflect that strategy in the way I constructed this question. Okay, tone of the third paragraph could be best described as, I'll go in reverse order. Jocular means happy, excited, joking around. Doesn't work. He's not really jocular anywhere in this. Hopeless, no. He's definitely emotional, but he's not hopeless. Morose means kind of dark and gloomy. And while he is talking about death, he's not just wallowing in self-pity. Caustic, well, no, he's not like angry at his wife. It's impassioned. It's a passionate paragraph. I mean, look how it starts. Sarah, my love for you is deathless. And here's some metaphorical language. It seems to bind me with mighty cables that nothing but omnipotence can break. I mean, you can't ask for something that's more passionate than that. So hopefully you got that one right. And if you didn't, it might have been because you went for one of the fancier words that you might not have known what it meant. So if try to eliminate the incorrect answers and do your best with what is left over. But this is one that everyone should have been able to get because we all know what impassioned means, right? Hopefully. Okay, fourth paragraph. What's the purpose? What is he trying to do there? In the fourth paragraph, we have, but, oh, Sarah, if the dead can come back to this earth and flit unseen around those they love, I shall always be with you. He's trying to uplift his wife in spite of the prospect of his death. He's not trying to persuade her to remarry or to scold his sons or to remind her of her maternal duties or to guilt her for pushing him to join the army. He's trying to uplift her in his own weird way of telling her, I'll always be with you, even if I die. I guess it's not that weird. So that, I'd say, is a slam dunk, easy enough question. Just as long as you identified the correct paragraph and saw the correct rhetorical verb. Really, you could have just stopped at the rhetorical verb. Like, he's not reminding or scolding or well, he might be persuading. He's just trying to uplift her. Okay. Final question. He develops his argument in the fifth paragraph by offering a heartwarming contrast to the bleak idea. No, he starts talking about his sons who might grow up without a father. And that's not heartwarming. Complaining that his boys might not live up to his expectations. No, he's not complaining about them. Revealing that he's terrified he will die in battle. No. Continuing an idea begun in the fourth paragraph. Maybe. Emphasizing the need to serve his country. Not in that paragraph. He's continuing an idea begun in the fourth paragraph. So the idea is what will happen, how his legacy and his spirit will continue to live even after death. And we see, as for my little boys, they will grow as I have done and never know a father's love and care. Little Willie is too young to remember me long, but my blue-eyed Edgar will keep my frolics with him among the dimmest memories of his childhood. So the idea of his memory, his essence, continuing with the people he loves, that's continuing an idea that he begins in that prior paragraph, making D the best answer. And again, this is one that you could have eliminated all the other answers, other incorrect answers in order to get there. So I'll be interested to see. I haven't sent this out to my students yet, to you, my audience, but I'll be interested to see how we do on it. I try to make these as faithful to the style of College Board as possible. But if you have questions about these, please reach out, and hope you have a great Valentine's Day weekend.